is leading you. Because there's a lot of voices, and sometimes you go through situations and circumstances trying to see what voice you should listen to. Amen?
That's crazy talk.
But as well as standing back there, it made me think about in Isaiah 40 where in verse 3 it says, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord. And even sometimes when you're in the wilderness, you still have to listen for God.
Amen.
But it's in that wilderness that you're tested. Amen?
Amen.
In Matthew 7:14, and actually what was so wild about this, I'm going to share it with you, is I had this wrote down Wednesday night, but I felt led to stop and not use this verse. So, that evening, the other evening I went to bed, I kept hearing Matthew 17, Matthew 7. I thought, Lord. So I got up the next morning, Matthew 17. I go get the Bible and read it, and guess what pops out to me? And I thought, wait a minute, is that the same scripture that I had wrote down that I didn't use Wednesday? God works in mysterious ways. And so I went and looked, I thought, oh wow, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
And I'm going to read this to you. I mean, we're in a time when deliverance needs to be.
Yes.
Come on, you remember the woman that had the daughter and she went to Jesus and asked the Lord to deliver her daughter who was vexed with the devil?
All right.
And remember he said the crumbs is the children's bread? Well, it was talking about deliverance. And what a lot of people don't realize, I don't care if you are saved, sometimes we need deliverance.
Oh, watch out.
Now, I know this ain't because a lot of people think you're saved, you got nothing to worry about. Let me tell you something. We all need deliverance sometimes, amen? But anyway, I'm going to read this to you out of Matthew 17, verse 14 through 17, or through 21. And it says this. He spoke to them of John the Baptist, and when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For often he falls into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I endure you? Bring him here to me. Oh, I'll tell you what, when nobody else can do it,
yes,
Jesus can get it done. Amen?
Yes.
And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the children was cured from that very hour.
Amen.
Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, why could not we cast him out? Because, how many of us know what the word says? Jesus said, if you believe in me, greater works shall you do than I. I mean, Jesus raised the dead. But what I found out, there's a lot of people that don't want to hear this kind of stuff that needs to be really going on in the churches nowadays.
Oh.
But anyway, and Jesus said to them, because of your unbelief.
Oh. Jesus.
I mean, Jesus just got real with his disciples and told them the truth. We are living in a time when people don't like the truth anymore. Amen. They want to hear something that agrees with what they think. But I've got news for you. If you're going to serve God, you're going to hear a voice sometimes that's not going to agree with your ways. Remember, prepare ye the way of the Lord.
Amen.
A voice crying in the wilderness. For verily I say to you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, remove here to yonder place, and it shall be removed. And nothing, get a hold of this, and nothing shall be impossible to you.
Wow.
Now, who's he talking to here? Who? See, somebody got that. He's talking to us, the church. But he's also talking to his disciples. And I'll say this, if you've been born again, you are his disciple. But just because you've been born again don't mean that you ain't going to have a struggle sometimes with what voice is speaking to you. Amen?
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
I mean, there's a lot of voices. And can I just go there? I'm going to tell you, sometimes when you're going through a trying time and you're trying to determine, man, it's a struggle. Even the Apostle Paul had this struggle.
Yeah.
Because he said, the things that I don't do, those are the things that I would. And the things that I would do, those are the things that I don't. And what he was saying is, I'm in a struggle. And sometimes I do things that normally I wouldn't do. But because of the struggle that I'm in, I react sometimes. And when I look back, it's not the way that...
Oh.
Are you getting this?
There we go.
And he was the Apostle Paul. But I heard a message this week, and it really clicked. I was like, wow. And people need to hear this. God used Jonah, remember,
Amen.
to go speak to a rebellious nation. Come on, get with me. But you know what's so awesome? Jonah was rebellious too. So God used a rebellious person to go correct a rebellious. I thought, man, that really clicked. And here's what I heard him say. You know, the minister that was ministering this, he said, what you got to see sometimes, there's not much difference between the pulpit and the pew. Oh my God. See, he had this man preaching, but that man went through a struggle. Amen. And there's one thing about it. When you went through a struggle, you can help somebody else when they're going through it. Come on. You can identify things in a person's life that nobody else can. That can because of what you've been through, what you've endured.
Yes.
Because what happens through that process, there's a refining that takes place when you look back. Can you look back in the last year and see growth in your life spiritually?
Amen.
Who can?
Amen. Amen.
Come on. We should, amen. But I can tell you this, it don't mean you're going to be perfect. There's going to be situations, and I think sometimes things arise for us to realize if it wasn't for Jesus,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Lord, I couldn't even make it. Amen. It's by Him and through Him. But I want to back up here for a minute because something that really sticks out with me is what happens to this man. Okay? And where he talks about, for often he falls into the fire and often into the water. I want to explain something to you. And to this, I can see a warfare in this. Because we can come to the house of God and be touched by the fire. Come on.
Yeah.
Fall into the fire. And then we go, the sad thing, we go right outside the doors and be hit with a flood.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
You remember reading about in the Bible where it says Satan cast out of his mouth a flood after?
Yeah.
And sometimes we're hit with flood, but I want you to see it in another way too. So because you can vice versa this thing. Sometimes we can be here and be touched with the water of God. Come on, whosoever shall drink this water shall never thirst again, and then go back out and get a fiery trial. Oh, now you're getting it, ain't you?
Whoa.
See, there's different ways that we can look at this thing. And so often what we don't realize, are you serious? God don't look at people the way we do.
Amen.
Come on. We judge people by their actions.
That's right.
But I can tell you this, God is merciful, long-suffering, not His will that any should perish.
Yes.
So often we want mercy for ourselves, but we don't want to show someone else mercy. And if the devil, if you listen to the lone voice, guess what? He's going to raise you up, and you're going to have trouble. Come on, get with me. If you listen to him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to share something with you that happened just yesterday, but wow, yesterday was amazing. I was seeing God in everything. How many know you can see God in everything if you'll just be aware and listen and ask God to speak to you? But anyway, you know, we're upstairs and Deidre's doing a little bit of cleaning up. She goes there and checks in his closet, and it wasn't ordered the way she wanted it ordered.
Okay.
How many know God to get right in your closet and tell you what needs to be done? But you know what? We don't like to be told nothing. Come on, your flesh don't, amen?
You're right.
But what I seen in this, you know, and who she was talking to was a little older than her. You know what I mean? Oh, well, she said, yeah. So now you know who it was. But anyway, standing there in that process, you know, well, this is like this and this is like this. If you just put it in order, it won't be like this. But I could see some aggravation rising too.
Okay.
Come on, get with me. And it was kind of like, well, I'll just put it under my bed. You know, a lot of times when we don't want to deal with something, what do? We hide it.
Oh.
Come on. Come on. When really we should go to the fire of God and say, burn it out of me, Lord.
Hey. Hey.
Lord, get in my closet and show me how to organize it. Now, Lord, not just the bedroom, but I want you to get in the closet where everything's hidden, things I don't want to look at. See, a lot of times we put things in the closet to get rid of it because we don't want to deal with it. But what I found out, if you'll just get in the closet sometimes and begin to deal with things and be honest with God, because there's a lot of us that got things way down deep that we haven't dealt with.
Amen. Amen.
How do you know this, Pastor? God will show you things.
Amen.
And a lot of times what we do, we push things down, and put it back in the closet, set it up on a shelf, amongst other things. And then the next thing you know, something else pops up, and what we don't realize, I've experienced that the enemy will work out of old wounds because of something your past, what you went through, and then somebody kind of close to that same similar issue you get hit with it, guess what? What the real problem is, there's a root down in the closet that you've not got out and dealt with. It's time to get it off the shelf and deal with it. Come on. So anyway, I said, of course, I made a few little remarks, me, but I was just trying to be funny. But I could see God was putting this for the message. I'm like, wow. And I could see all of it. How many know we all have closets?
Amen. Amen.
Oh, you've got a house that don't have one. Who does? Most every house has a closet. Now, you can act like, you can push that closet to the back and never get in it and just leave it all messed up to where you ain't got. See, some people's got their closets so full that you can't put nothing else in it. Yeah. Oh, it's getting real quiet in here. But anyway, after we left from there, but start of the morning, I've been busy for the last several weeks, okay? And ain't had time for this and that. You thought probably, well, you don't even work. Oh, trust me, I've been busy, amen? But anyway, we had a little leak in the roof. And I thought, well, it ain't that bad. The sheetrock's already kind of bad, so I'll just let it go. How many times sometimes we can be a little leak and we don't take care? Uh-oh. Get a hold of what I'm telling you, amen? We can have a little leak sometimes and not take care of it, and that leak can really begin to get bigger than what you ever thought it could be. But anyway, this process, I remember last fall, I painted the bathroom ceiling because there was a stain. I thought it was a stain, like a nail that kind of rusted. So I go there and get me some stain kit, spray on, that'll take care. Then I painted over top of it. Come on, get a hold of what I'm telling you. Sometimes we just kind of coat over top of things and really not get to the real issue. And another thing I realized, I'm going to share with you, even yesterday this happened, I got a letter in the mail, and it was so amazing because when I seen it, it was from a lawyer's office. Sometimes we look at things at the face value, but it's not what it even is. Because when I open the letter, it's something I've been praying about. I was like, wow. God. When I see a letter from a lawyer's office, I just heard the Holy Spirit said it's okay to tell you what it was. We've been praying about selling the lot over on 8th Avenue that we still have. Because I'm praying to put that money toward the building fund. Well, I get a letter in the mail, it's the lawyer's office. Well, some things I went through the path. Oh, here we go again. That was my first thought. Whose voice are you listening? That wasn't God told me that.
Wow.
Are you seeing this? Now, to be honest with you, I had just come down from the closet experience. Yeah, you getting me, amen? What God was revealing to me, I was all excited, like, whoa! And then I go out to the mailbox, and here's a letter, and guess what?
Fiery dart.
That water I had going, here come a fiery trial to try to stop the flow. Well, I thought, well, you know what? I opened the letter, and I read, I thought, wow, Lord. And it was a lawyer wanting me to get back with him because somebody's wanting to buy that property. And I was like, oh my gosh. And here's what I heard. Sometimes we just look at things and we judge them and it's not what they really are. Amen. So quit looking at the outside of it.
Yeah.
And open the envelope and get in the inside of it and see it for what it really is.
Yeah.
And so often we don't do this. Amen. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take this up to my wife and I'm going to get her opinion on this. So I take it up, I said, here, tell me something. What do you see when you first look at this envelope?
Oh.
Well, yeah. So she got the same.
Yeah.
Come on.
Amen.
I said, now open it up and read it. And she read it, she said, and it's like, you see almost like, wait a minute, is what I'm reading ain't what I read on the envelope.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Quit reading just a few things and open it up and read all of it.
Wow.
See, the devil's got people just reading a few things. And when they're in the wilderness and that fiery trial's coming and God's about to do great things, if he can get them off course, guess
Good
what?
Good word.
He'll have victory in your life. We should give no place to the devil. Now, what are we supposed to be as Christians? Fruit of the Spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Oh man, it's hard to be kind to somebody who's been wicked to you. Come on. But guess what the bigger person will do? He got real quiet, didn't he? Yeah. Jesus said, bless them that persecute you. Pray for them that despitefully use you. There's going to be things that happen, but here's the key. How we deal with it determines where we lie.